get this, we're talking 3D printed bones today. Like, imagine surgeons practicing on 3D printed bones that, feel like the real deal.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's actually happening right now, too.
Right. And we're not talking about the future or anything. This is like happening now. We found this article on Tom's Hardware about a surgeon. Their username is Upecta Surgeon.
Okay.
On Reddit. And they're using this 3D printing, this like bone simulating filament to create models to help them plan surgeries.
Wow, that's awesome.
Or chest wall defects.
So they're basically like personalizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And get this, they even printed a test rib and sawed through it.
Oh, wow.
To see how the material reacted.
So I bet they're really concerned about how it feels, right? Like the tactile feedback.
Yeah, they even said something like, it's important that it doesn't melt when I saw it.
Yeah.
So clearly they needed to be, pretty close to the real thing. So what is this magic filament that they're using?
So it's called SimuBone.
SimuBone, okay.
And it's made by a company called 3DX Tech. And it's designed to, really mimic the properties of bone.
So not just how it looks, but how it feels and reacts and...
Yeah, exactly. Like how strong it is and if it's flexible.
Right. And that's where I guess the infill comes in, right? Like how dense they print it.
Right, exactly.
The surgeon said they use 75% infill, so it's mostly solid with just these tiny air pockets.
Which would give it, that realistic feel.
Makes sense. It's strong but not brittle.
Exactly.
That's super cool.
Yeah. Like, imagine being able to practice these really, delicate procedures.
Yeah.
Getting a feel for how much give there is in the bone.
It's like a flight simulator, but for surgeons.
Totally.
But the SimuBone stuff can't be cheap.
You're right. It's not. A roll costs around $98, actually.
Whoa.
But they also talked about using wood PLA filament as, a more affordable option.
Oh, interesting. So there are, cheaper alternatives.
Yeah, if it's, for teaching models and stuff.
Okay, that's really cool. So it's not just for, super fancy hospitals or anything?
Right.
They did say that they also want to simulate cartilage, though.
Oh, right. Which is obviously a lot more flexible than bone.
Yeah, they were talking about using TPU for that, which is a flexible filament.
Uh-huh.
But it sounds like it'll be tricky to get it right.
Oh, definitely. You need a material that can, really mimic that elasticity and how it compresses.
Right. TPU is a good place to start, but I guess there are a bunch of different kinds.
Yeah, with different properties and stuff.
So it sounds like this surgeon is pretty into experimenting, which is really neat.
Yeah. They did say that the SimuBone is, visually really accurate.
Right. But in the end, I guess it's more about how it behaves during surgery.
Right. How it responds to the instruments.
Yeah, that's what makes it so groundbreaking, I guess.
Right.
That it's not just a visual model.
Yeah. It's it bridges the gap between that digital world of 3D modeling and, the actual real feel of surgery.
That's so cool. So it's they have a personalized simulator for every surgery.
Yeah, exactly. And, that kind of leads us to another really important thing with these models.
Okay.
It's the planning aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine a whole surgical team all gathered around this 3D printed skull,
Right.
planning out this crazy brain surgery.
Yeah, strategizing how they're going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just, brain surgery,
Right.
any surgery, really.
They've got a 3D roadmap of the patient's body.
Right.
And they can see where everything is.
Yeah, and that can, seriously improve the outcome, right?
Oh, sure.
Less time in surgery, less blood loss,
Less risk.
less recovery time.
Which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's changing how we think about surgery.
For sure. But, all this fancy tech, it makes you wonder about the cost.
Yeah.
We talked about how that SimuBone is kind of pricey,
Uh-huh.
even though there are cheaper options for teaching. But how do we make sure, everyone has access to this? Not just the big hospitals.
That's a great question. Maybe we'll see open source designs for these models.
Oh, that would be cool.
Or government help for smaller hospitals to, buy the equipment.
That would be awesome. So that, doctors everywhere can use this.
Yeah, it's not just about the money though, right?
Right.
You need the printers, the software, the people who know how to use it all.
It's a whole system has to be built up.
Yeah.
But the possibilities are, insane.
They really are.
I was thinking, we keep talking about the surgeons. What about the patients?
Oh, that's a good point.
How does this affect them?
Well, usually patients are just along for the ride. They go to the doctor, they get their diagnosis, and then boom, surgery.
Right.
But with this, they can be way more involved.
Like really understand what's happening.
Yeah. Instead of just like looking at a scan, they could hold a model of their own bones.
Oh,
They can see exactly where the surgery will be.
I bet that would make some people feel a lot less nervous.
Oh, for sure. And it's not just about seeing it, right?
Okay.
Like, imagine giving feedback on the model.
What?
Yeah. Like, working with the surgeon to make, like, a custom implant or something.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's like a team effort.
The patient and the surgeon working together.
Exactly. But, with all this cool stuff, we got to think about the ethics, too.
Oh, right, yeah. We've been focusing on all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But what about the risks?
Well, like, what about privacy? We're talking about super detailed models of people's bodies.
Yeah, that data needs to be protected.
Exactly. And, what if someone uses this tech for, like, bad stuff?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Like fake evidence or, I don't know, even weapons?
Yeah, you wouldn't want that.
We need rules and guidelines for all this.
Before it gets out of control.
Exactly.
Just like we're entering uncharted territory.
You really are.
So much potential, but we got to be careful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really makes you think. Like, how do we balance the good with the potential risks?
Right, and it's important to remember that this is all still so new.
Yeah.
We're like just figuring it out as we go.
I keep thinking about that surgeon. You picked a surgeon.
Oh yeah.
How they're like so focused on making it feel like real bone.
It's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, they really want to get it. Like,
Yeah.
exactly right.
It shows how much they, care about their patients.
That's something.
They get that surgery is like a really hands-on thing.
Yeah, remember how they were testing it by sawing through it
Oh, yeah.
to make sure it didn't melt or anything?
Like they want to recreate the whole experience.
Yeah, not just what it looks like, but what it feels like, too.
Which is like super important for training new surgeons.
Right. Imagine learning on something that feels just like the real deal.
Totally. And not just for like basic training, but
Yeah.
also for, experienced surgeons.
Right?
To like try out new techniques or practice for a tricky case.
It's like a dress rehearsal before the real thing.
Exactly.
And that could really help patients, too.
Oh, absolutely. Like imagine practicing a really complicated surgery on a model first.
So there's, like, less risk when they do the actual surgery.
Right. And not just improving like existing surgery,
Yeah.
but also coming up with totally new ones.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is.
Like, we're changing what's possible in medicine.
Yeah, it's not just like a small step forward.
Right.
This is like a whole new era.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
It really is. And it's not just about the 3D printing, right? It's all these different technologies coming together.
Like the imaging and the software and the material science.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing what we can do when we, combine all this stuff.
So where do we go from here? What's next for all this?
Well, I think we'll see, even more realistic models, like incorporating different tissues, blood vessels, maybe even nerves.
Whoa. So it'll be like operating on a virtual patient.
Yeah, pretty much. And as it gets cheaper, more hospitals will be able to use it.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Definitely. It's a really exciting time for medicine, I think.
Yeah, it feels like we're at the beginning of something big.
We really are. But, we got to remember tech is just a tool.
Right.
It's up to us to use it for good.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So to our listeners out there, what do you think? What role will you play in all of this?
Yeah. Will you be a patient, a doctor, a researcher, or just someone who's interested in this stuff?
Whatever it is, keep asking questions, stay informed.
The future of healthcare is being shaped right now.
And we can all be a part of it.